Hi, this is Jen Pearson with Confidently Homeschool, and this is the first in my series of videos where I will be responding to questions that people have sent in or posted on my business page. So the first question I'm going to address today is one I received, and it says, I would love to know what to do when kids simply don't want to do work, and I don't want to be the bad guy every day. I get questions similar to this pretty frequently. A lot of times they don't say when kids simply don't want to do the work. They'll say something like, my child doesn't like to learn, or they just really don't like learning, or they don't like school. And I think it's all kind of the same question. And the thing to remember is that as human beings, we actually like to learn naturally. We are born naturally curious about the world around us. And as a species, we would not have survived, we would not have innovated if we didn't have a natural propensity for learning and for enjoying learning. We actually get a shot of neurotransmitters that make us feel happy whenever we learn something new. It's one of the reasons kids actually really enjoy trying new video games and leveling up. It's the same kind of thing. Every time you learn something new or achieve something new, you get that burst of feel-good neurotransmitters that make you happy. So kids really do like to learn. What they might not like is the methods that are being used to try to teach them things. They may not like what they're being taught or what they're supposed to be learning. Or they may just not be in the mood today to do whatever educational activity you're hoping they'll do. So there are a few things you can do. And if you homeschool, you have the ultimate freedom to decide how to deal with these situations. First of all, you can decide just to take the day off. You can go do something like a field trip, or spend some time outside, or do something totally different. That's your sort of freedom as a homeschooler to be able to do that. Don't recommend doing that every day. But now and then, when everybody is grumpy and you just feel like you need a break, I think it's okay. And sometimes it's necessary. I learned early on that trying to force it on a bad day usually just made the bad day worse. Whereas taking a step back and saying, okay, you're not feeling it right now. What do you want to do? Do you want to go play outside? Do you want to read a book together? Do you want to go on a field trip to the museum or the zoo? Do something a little different and something they enjoy. And then often after that, they're much more willing to do what it is you want them to do. It's kind of a reciprocity. If you do what they want to do sometimes, then they're much more willing to do things you want them to do, even if it's not very appealing to them. The other option that you have is to take a good look at why they aren't enjoying or don't want to do the work. Is the work too hard for them? Is it very frustrating because it's too difficult? Or on the other hand, is it too easy? Sometimes if work is too easy, it becomes boring and it's just busy work. Nobody likes to do work where they're not challenged at all. It becomes just very boring and rote, and nobody enjoys that. So take a look at the level of the work. First of all, see if it's right for your child. Next, look at what it is they're learning. Is this something that they just really don't find interesting? And if it's something they have to do, like they really need to learn math, or they have to do this because they need it to go on to the next level of something, or for a career that they want someday, then find a way to make what it is they're learning more relevant and interesting to them. Relate it to something they're already interested in, or relate it to something that they enjoy or hope to do in the future. And that can often help once you kind of change it a little bit to make it more relevant. One example is math. I have one child who's not a big fan of math. It's just not the most exciting thing to her, but she really enjoys helping me in the kitchen and baking. So when we had to learn fractions, I thought, well, let's make a recipe. Let's bake cookies. Who doesn't like cookies? And so we pulled out all the mixing bowls and the measuring cups, and we decided to double the recipe so she'd have to work on adding fractions. And I made her figure out what it would be for all the different measurements if we doubled the recipe. So she saw the real world application of fractions and adding fractions to each other. And that made it much more interesting. And then she realized that she needed to learn this, and it wasn't just silly, busy work she had to do for school. The other thing you can do as a homeschooler is to let your child do something that they really enjoy, and then see how they'll learn, or help to influence how they'll learn all the things that you think they need to learn through that project. So if your child really likes bugs, for example, then maybe you can do some sort of a project like we did a few years ago, where we got butterflies and we released them, and we started to study butterflies, and we got books about them, and my daughter wrote about them, and we had a party to do a butterfly release. And so for that, she had to invite people, but she had to figure out how many people we invited, how many people were going to come, how much food we needed for all of those people. There's a lot of math involved there. So you can come up with almost any project related to something that they enjoy, and then use that as a way to teach them the things that they need to learn. So usually when kids don't want to do the work, or they don't seem to want to learn, it's just that they don't like the way it's being taught, or the way it's being presented to them, or they don't see that it's relevant to real life for them. So if you can look at their interests, really start with the child. I think that's the key. Look at your child and figure out what they need and what will make them excited about the topic. And then that is a good starting place to figure out how to get them excited about learning. I will see you next time. Please post your questions either on my business page or in the comments of the video, and I will do my best to answer all of them online for you.